Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm doing well. I changed where I'm shooting my video for today. My neighbors were a little bit noisy. Um, I am going to talk today about The Handmaid's Tale because it is over. They shot the series finale and it aired, I believe, Tuesday. So I'm going to talk about that today. So if you haven't seen the ending, then this might not be the video for you because I will be spoiling it for you. So don't say I didn't tell you so. First, I want to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. I am thankful for each and every one of you that watches my video. I want to express from the bottom of my heart anyone that has subscribed or viewed or commented. I have had my comments open for a few videos and shorts now, and I knew that things would be coming in, and I'm fine with that. Normally, I do reply if someone comments, but I might not always. It depends on what you comment, but I'm still going to leave it open because any engagement is good engagement, whether it's a thumbs down, thumbs up, a share, a comment. um, Anything is good engagement, so it doesn't bother me. I just want to make it clear that I am not religious at all. I know someone that commented that either wanted a reaction out of me, and you're getting a response, but you're probably not getting the reaction that you want. Talking about how religion is placebo, and I could do it by myself, but I don't know how. And I'm not going to respond to all of that. I just know that whoever made that comment hasn't watched the rest of the videos that I have on my channel or the description of the channel, because I'm not religious at all. I've been there, I've done that, and I think more often than not I have seen organized religion equating to a cult, so for lack of a better term. And just because I say coven sometimes, a coven is a covenant. It doesn't mean that I'm talking about witches. It's anyone that has made a pact, any group of people that have made a pact together. A covenant is something that binds you together. It's an agreement um, of any kind that like-minded people will have put efforts in on, and they are bound together by a set agreement, and it makes them a covenant. They're a coven, they're bound by a covenant. And so it could be any group, any community, anything like that. So that's what I mean by that. But yeah, I'm not religious at all. I've been in so many churches, I've been in religious schools, I have been part of church camps, I've done it all. And it's just not for me. I don't condemn anyone, nor will I ever condemn anyone for being part of church. What I don't like is churches or Christianity that try to condemn anyone else for not believing exactly what they believe, and then they think or try to make it appear like their extremely judgmental behavior is better than anything that they might be condemning. Because why are you being judgmental? Why are you lashing out? Why are you trying to teach anyone, much less the masses, that someone is wrong or demonic, or anything that you might point your finger and say that judgmental attitude is better at all than anything that you're pointing your finger at? That's extremely comical to me, that you would excuse your own behavior and not have the self-awareness of what you're doing in order to, make it seem better than what somebody else is doing. Because pointing the finger and condemning is not what Jesus would do. So it's a complete contradiction, and I'm sure I contradict myself a lot. I'm not saying that I don't, but I definitely don't want to put anyone in the position to stop growing or stop asking questions, or stop being themselves and doing whatever feels right to them, even if religion is placebo. Even though I'm not religious, I want you to do whatever gets you there, whatever motivates you, whatever makes you feel connected to source, and whatever you want to call source. I am not religious, but I will never negate source. I will never try to act like we do not come from source, whatever you choose to call source. In my lifetime, I have been in church a lot since the day I was born, and I have always called it God. So that's why I still call it God. But you can call it whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else. Whatever gets you there is magnificent to me. So, whatever, even if you choose not to believe in existence while being in existence, as long as you're being good to yourself and good to your neighbors, it doesn't matter to me. We're all on our own paths, and we will all come to understand things in our own ways, in our own times. So, more power to you. I love you no matter what, all of you. Secondly, I am not open to doing cakes for anyone in Chattanooga ever again. I'm so sorry, but I'm not sorry. My business, for a lack of better terms, and that I won't go into it in depth at all, was compromised. That business, even though I love doing cakes and I'm sure I will do cakes again in my future, I'm not sure that I will ever do it as a business, but it is a skill that I possess. I don't plan to keep it locked away forever. I miss my buttercream, even though my body doesn't need on my journey right now of buttercream frosting. I'm trying to stay away from sweets. The sweetest thing that I've had in a while is like fruit. So I'm not open to doing cakes. So people reach out to me all the time, and I know whoever it is, whatever is wherever it's coming from, Chattanooga has at least 2 degrees separation at best. And so you can tell your mom and them, your sis and them, your brother and them, people down the street, whatever. I am not going to respond to any cake requests at all. Even all of my stuff is still at my uncle's house. And I would only go back to my uncle's house in maybe 2 different situations. And one being if he were incarcerated, 2 if he were deceased. And I would only do it with backing, some not for my protection, but for the simple fact that he wants me in jail. For whatever reason, he can get me in jail. He has said, I can have you taken out of here in handcuffs at any time. So I know there are crooked cops behind him and whatever he stands for and whatever communities and organizations that he belongs to. So for that simple reason, I will not be going back there. I have things that I love there that I would love to have back. Way more than my cake supplies. And I wouldn't do it for those things. So stop asking me. I am not a rude person, and I don't have anything against any customer. I'm glad that I was able to do it for as long as I was. And I'm so proud of the things that I created. I think I made beautiful cakes. I'm very proud of how far that I came in that trade. And I'm glad that I had it, and I still have it inside of me, but I will not be doing it in Chattanooga ever, 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 ever again. So pardon the ignored requests, but it's not a thing. It will not be happening. Thirdly, I wanted to say what I'm thankful for today. I'm thankful for my walk. I'm thankful for being able to swing on the playground when I'm done with my walk and look up at the open sky and see the stars and the moon while I'm doing it. I am thankful for podcasts. I'm thankful for seeing someone at Food City that I've known for a long time, and it just makes me happy to see that person, even just for a couple of minutes. He used to work next to a pizza place that I worked at in the same complex, and now he's worked at the grocery store in that complex for years. And I saw him tonight, and it just made me very happy to see him. That he remembered my name after years, years and years and years. I've seen him periodically, but he remembers my name, and that meant so much to me. I love people. I love people. I am so happy to be out and around people in any capacity. So that always makes me happy. Um, there was a Theo Vaughn podcast that I listened to today, and I love when he has just ordinary people on there. I've listened to a cop. I've listened to a coroner. I've listened to a garbage man that he interviews. He does not have just celebrities on his podcast, and I love when he has just regular people, and those seem to be like the longest ones too. They're the most interesting, and he spends more time with them than he does with the celebrities, so check that out. What else? I'm grateful for my mango kombucha that only Food City carries around here, or Whole Foods, but I don't go to Whole Foods. What else happened today? We had a rain shower. It was magnificent. It sounded so wonderful. I saw some dogs at the park while I was walking. A miniature schnauzer, which I used to have one, so that reminds me of my Jacob boy. Yeah, those are things that I'm thankful for today. So I hope that you guys are staying just in a constant state of gratitude and being positive and looking up. And also, Danique has a new video up. It's not very long. I think it was only like less than 10 minutes. But she talks about how being realistic limits you in the amount of power that you have. So being realistic and coloring within the lines basically keeps you limited as far as what you're actually really capable of when you are creating your own reality. So go listen to that. It's a great reminder, and it will invite you to not stay within the lines and to be outrageous and unrealistic at every chance that you can get, because when you just think about, what's practical, you'll never know the possibilities that are available to you just by limiting your beliefs, because our thoughts are powerful, our words are powerful, our actions are powerful. You're putting your energy into the things that are possible, and if you just stay very limited, you will never ever realize your potential, your greatness. And I want that for all of you. So go check out that. The Handmaid's Tale, I didn't read the book, so I guess as far as not knowing how the book ended, I still was hoping that June would see Hannah, or get her daughter Hannah back before it was over, but that didn't happen. And I did go and read how the book ended, and it had a very an alternate ending even from how the TV series ended. So I'm glad it didn't go with that, because that would have been it wouldn't have been as sweet of an ending. But there is another, like, a spinoff coming called The Testaments, in which Hannah is the main character. So I very much look forward to that. But this series came at a time in my life when things were a little lopsided, and I felt like I had been wronged and betrayed. And so even though this series was scary because it showed what could be a very real possibility if something were to happen, wars or contamination, religion, things that could easily get out of hand and oppress us even more than we are already oppressed, some more than others. But oppression is something that I personally would like to make obsolete if I have any say so in it in my lifetime. But I hate oppression. It's slavery. It is modern day slavery. Oppression is slavery of your mind, and I despise it. I don't stay in that energy, but that's why I try to open your eyes, open your ears, open your awareness to things that are going on around us, because we are not far off from things like the Handmaid's Tale. That's what made it so terrifying at first, because you're like, whew, like we are just a couple of actions away from something like that being a reality. And that's why I think it, um, whether you were into the book or not, it definitely drew a lot of women in particular in, because it's very it's very easy to grasp that something like that could go down and be just fine with a lot of people, because of the way that we see society and the reality around us in this day and age. So anyway, one important thing that I took away from the end is that Serena, who was basically part owner of June when she was a handmaid, she and June had went through a lot of situations together where Serena needed to rely on June. It was a very how the tables turned in that series, and the tide turned in a way where Serena was a founder of this Gilead, this community, and it turned to where things happened to her that she despised, that she ended up with the short end of the stick, where she was not on top like she had always thought she would be, and she needed June's help, and June was the lowest of the low in that, well, not the lowest, but close to the lowest on the ranks in Gilead, and they never became friends. But June did help her when she thought she would never ever want to help someone who had done horrible things to her like Serena had. But Serena asked for forgiveness, and this is the one and only thing that really made me tear up at it, was that June forgave her. And I cannot state how important it is to forgive, how important it is to free yourself from that. It is not for the other person, although they might gain a lot from it. I'm sure that they do. But forgiving yourself, forgiving others, it's so very important in being able to move forward and not stay stuck. It's like everyone says, it's like drinking poison and expecting it to heal someone else. It's not ever going to touch them. The resentment that you hold inside your body will make you sick mentally, physically. That's why I think doing yoga and things like that, in order to open your channels as far as how energy flows, you can't ignore energy. I don't care if you want to call yoga demonic or not, you cannot ignore that energy exists and that we are energy, and energy vibrates at a certain frequency. It can be measured. These things are tangible, they are facts. So anyone that wants to keep you from knowing about those things or accepting them as facts is trying to hold you back. They're trying to limit you. They're trying to brainwash you into only believing what they want you to believe and not looking deeper or questioning things. But energy flows through you, and it cannot flow freely and clearly through you the way that it should if you harbor secrets, if you have stress, if you have resentment, if you have those lower vibrational energies stuck in your body. You have to be able to release them. You have to be able to transmute them and turn them into something else. Energy does not get destroyed. It cannot be destroyed, but it can change form. And you are magic, my dear. I'm not saying that in any kind of witchcraft, Harry Potter, Google witch talk, whatever. I'm saying it is magical. I believe in miracles, and you are the magic of your own miracle. They happen every day when it comes to you taking something bad that happened to you, or you taking a bad feeling, a negative thought, anything, and you turn it into something else, and you use that to empower you. You use that for others to learn from and be inspired by. You are magic. That is magic. You're creating it. Like, you are using something that someone meant as something horrible, something devastating and traumatic, and you are turning it into something that can be used to spread positivity, to spread love. Love is why. Love is the entire reason why we are here. So the longer that you keep yourself from experiencing that, and on a grand scale, then the more that you are going to stay stuck in those lower vibrational energies, and it is going to make you sick. And it will spread to others because they'll vibrate the same as you. Even if you think that it's love and you are syncing up with people under the pretense that your low vibrational state is love because you're friends with them or you're family with them, and then they in turn pick up on your vibrations and they start to sync up with you, that's pulling them down too. So it spreads. It's like a disease. Lower vibrations are like a disease, but higher vibrations, once you figure out how to get there, how to turn things into love and higher vibrations, how you can flip it on its head, how you can flip the script and you can start to vibrate high. And when you figure out how to stay there, no matter what is going on around you, you can be the peace in the storm, and you can walk like that all the time and be unfuckwittable because it is possible. That's how you create your little slice of heaven on earth. That also spreads too. Kindness ripples. People will pick up on that, and they will see that no matter how far down you were, you did it, that they can do it too. It's very encouraging. So the sooner that you can forgive and you learn how to transmute, that's a huge step forward. It's a massive survival skill, a huge technique that is invaluable. And like I've said before, I'll teach it to anyone who that will listen, because it did wonders for me. Wonders. When God was done carrying me, when I didn't know how to do, and I didn't know how to do life again, like without the things that I thought I identified with, and the things that I thought made me valuable. After putting one foot in front of the other and just doing it without even knowing how I was doing it, I know that it was my higher power, but at the time I was just devastated. And after I came out of that fog, out of that sleepwalking, just doing the robotic actions of everyday life again. When I came out of that, it was transmuting the energy, dancing, singing, walking like out in nature, appreciating the joy that was already in my day-to-day life that I had just forgotten to appreciate. I'd forgotten to look at in wonder. Things that sparkled all around me that gave me joy that I had taken for granted. Transmuting was how I got there. So yeah, anybody that wants advice on that, I have some other videos on it. But back to the Handmaid's Tale. Serena told June, and this is not verbatim, but it was something that I took away, that she had been with Nick, who was the father of her second baby that was had while she was in captivity. And Nick had betrayed her. And then Nick died when a airplane blew up that he was on, along with Commander Lawrence, who was a very positive figure in Gilead for June, even though he couldn't do it out in the open. Nick had loved her very much, and he ended up being a commander. And Serena told June that Nick would have been with her if he were able to see a way to do that and still survive, to live, to do it openly, but he never could. He could never love her. and be with her openly. There was never a way that he could figure out how to do that. And so he had to do what he needed to do to survive, to hide his love from her, to show it privately, sparingly. Um, but he could never be with her openly. And I think that spoke volumes because a lot of people don't know a way around their circumstance. I think in my situation, a lot of people have helped me but haven't been able to do it openly because if they had been exposed for helping me when no one was supposed to help me, everyone was supposed to hate me. I was supposed to be able to turn to no one and gain any traction, but yet strangers. God will send strangers, and I can never publicly thank them. I'll never be able to thank them enough, but I can never publicly thank them at the moment. I will eventually, but in the moment, I can't because I know that they would not be safe. Um, they just wouldn't be safe. It's not safe to tell them thank you at the moment by name. And a lot of people are in situations like that. They have to be very incognito with the people that they offer help to because there are structures in our society, the oppression that exists will not allow them to do it publicly. They There's reach everywhere, and if you do it, um, you put yourself on the line. You make yourself a target because they will make an example out of you. If you are not supposed to help someone, if the community is not supposed to help someone, then you better not do it. And if you do it, you better be sly in the way that you do it. And anybody that is getting help in a situation like what I've been through, please don't thank them publicly until it is all said and done. Um, But like I know in the story that Nick loved June, but Nick had to die before he could ever do anything publicly for June. And that was very bittersweet, I would say. But she went on to fight more. I had wanted to see her with Hannah, but not all of Gilead was freed, so she had to continue the fight, and she had to leave her daughter in order to fight. And her daughter was in good hands, even though she didn't get to raise her daughter like she wanted to. She had to continue to fight because she still had one daughter in captivity. So the running themes of this have been very, very close to my heart because she was a fighter and she went through a lot of hard times, and um, people kept telling her to write her story down for future generations, and she didn't want to remember um, all of the things. They hurt so much. There was a lot of trauma. Her daughter was taken from her, she was taken from her family. It was just a lot of separation, a lot of captivity, a lot of oppression. There was even rape. And she didn't want to write a lot of these things down, so she scoffed at that. But her husband, from before she was in captivity, told her that um, not only from a historical, guidance kind of standpoint for others, other women, other generations, which is what her mother said to write it down for. Her husband said that there were a lot of people that helped her along the way, a lot of people that loved her along the way, so that even in these painful, painful situations, there was still a sense of community. There was still a sense of love. There was still a sense of others helping and be compassionate and knowing that even if they were doing it, that what they were doing was not right. And they helped her. They helped her to escape. They gave her love when no one else gave her love. There was a sisterhood amongst the handmaids and some of the Marthas, that they worked as a network, and they gave each other information, and they helped each other, and they all rose up together. And it showed a lot of them from the past and present in one scene, as if they were all free and just living their civilian type lives. And they played that song Landslide, which I've mentioned in my other video, how Landslide is very close to my situation and like the meaning anyway that I have towards it. But it was just kind of ironic how they tied that in when it's been something that I've talked about as well. But I felt very connected to that show, and I'm looking forward to the Testaments because it gives hope for, the future of what happened to them, and that people never stopped telling their truth or telling their story or helping others to get out of it. I listened to a podcast the other day which said the longest journey that you'll ever take is from your head to your heart. And I feel like that sums up a lot of my situation, and it sums up the Handmaid tale in that, it's very difficult between connecting like your intellectual understanding to being able to emotionally accept it. You may be able to say, this, and this, these are facts that happened. But as far as integrating that to your feelings and accepting it that way into your heart, it's not an easy thing to do. They can be very separated when you rationalize what's happening and what needs to be done versus what you want to do and what you're not able to do. Your hands are tied a lot of times, and so the connection isn't made very easily because you want to act on your feelings. Your emotions is energy and motion. You want to do something, you want to act on it, you want to make it right, and it's not always ours to make it right, and that you have to release what the illusion of control and give that up to God and walk in faith until his plan, God's plan, comes to fruition in his divine timing. That you can't lean on your own understanding, because it's not for us to say, it's not for us to do, it's just our path to walk. It's our cross to bear, and as long as you do that, everything will be okay. But if you live through some trauma, through some suffering, through some really, really difficult times, connecting it to your heart space will bring you hurt and pain, and you can't always get what you need to get done while you're feeling all of those raw emotions. It's very important eventually for them to come out and for you to feel them all and not cover them up or use any, band-aids, no negative coping skills. You want to deal with those shadows, with those nightmares, with those whatever has come from the trauma. You want to deal with that in a healthy way with positive coping skills and give it up to God, because in the moment it could just, you're going to have to do it with a broken heart, but eventually you're going to have to reconcile all of that. And understanding rationally is often easier than truly internalizing and integrating it emotionally. That's what I found online to sum that analogy up. But yeah, grieving, accepting certain harsh truths, just sometimes changing like your belief system, if you have a limited belief system, and opening yourself up to the many possibilities that exist when you step outside of that conditioning, the things that you have been taught. It's mind-blowing, because a lot of the way that you were taught and raised, when you go through a hard time, you weren't prepared for that. It flips everything on its head. But as long as you hold your truth, as long as you keep the flame, keep your light shining no matter what, that you will be a beacon to others, that you will be that peace, and that's what you have to stay in. You have to deal with it in a healthy way. And I think in The Handmaid's Tale and in my journey, that connecting my head and my heart so that they are one and the same after coming through, the storm. The only way out is through. That after you come through the storm, that you are relatively unscathed, that everything's fine. Everything is just fine. And yeah, you just have to let go. You just have to let go and let God, and everything will be fine. But I look forward to the next set of adventures. June is not in the Testament, so I will ruin that, but she is like a executive producer, so she's involved and she is named as Luke is as well. So they are like alive and well, but they are not characters in the new show. But the story goes on. So same with me. The story goes on. I have written and journaled a lot lately, so I've gotten a lot of things out. I have released a lot of things. I am completely disengaged with anything having to do with my previous structure, with my old life. And that's one reason I'm not doing cakes. That's one reason I'm not talking about children anymore. I'm not talking about the narcissism in my past or the abuse in my past. I have completely let go of that, and I have made room for the new structure, the new structure to come in, and I am looking forward to that. So just know that after tragedy, that the sun will come out again, and I want you all to look forward to that as well. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.